I am. I'm amazing.
Not so fast.
Gather round for a twisted tale of notoriety in these 20 movies featuring rock stars of recklessness, the champions of chaos, and the connoisseurs of catastrophe. We're diving into the cinematic history books to uncover the juiciest secrets of the most infamous folks to ever grace this planet. Their exploits are the stuff of legends, or should I say, legendary bad decisions. Stick with us, because by the end, you'll be shocked, appalled, and oddly entertained as their common traits are revealed. I'm Gail.
And I'm Ren, and this is What It Takes to Be.
Let's get this party started.
In Scarface, Al Capone's infamy isn't just about the scar on his face. It's about the scars he left on the Prohibition era. He made illegal booze flow like a river, turning speakeasies into the hottest nightclubs in town. Capone's criminal charisma was so contagious that even his enemies secretly wished they could dance the Charleston with him. He's the gangster who made crime look like a roaring good time.
And I'm amazing.
Not so fast.
Bonnie and Clyde showed the world that you can rob banks, dodge the law, and still be the most photogenic outlaws in history. Their criminal escapades were like a never-ending road trip, with more bullets than snacks in the car. These two lovebirds turned crime into an art form and left the Great Depression in stitches, proving that even notorious bandits can have a sense of style.
I'm amazing. Not so fast.
Public Enemies puts the spotlight on John Dillinger, the man who turned bank heists into a spectator sport with a grin that could charm the pants off of a scarecrow. He was the original Robin Hoodlum.
Whole country thinks you're a damn hero.
Dillinger's idea of a withdrawal wasn't from an ATM. It was a Tommy gun in one hand and a bag of loot in the other. He made the FBI look like a bunch of bumbling amateurs in fedoras, and crime looked surprisingly dapper.
I'm amazing.
Not so fast.
In Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, Ted Bundy takes center stage as the charming chameleon of the criminal world. He had a face that could launch 1,000 nightmares, but he used it to charm his way into the darkest chapters of true crime history. Bundy was like a Casanova killer, turning courtrooms into dating shows, proving that sometimes evil can wear a seductive smile.
I'm amazing.
Not so fast.
In Helter, Skelter, Charles Manson proves that even the wildest rock and roll fantasies can't match his bizarre cult escapades, with a wild-eyed charisma that would make even the craziest rock star jealous. Manson convinced his followers that he was the ultimate hippie guru.
You better lock your doors and watch your own kids!
Forget all you need is love. Manson's motto was more like all you need is chaos. He turned California dreams into a trippy nightmare, and his infamy still echoes through the 60s.
I'm amazing!
Not so fast.
In Loving Pablo, Pablo Escobar proves
We are building houses for the poor.
that you can rise from rags to riches, or in this case, from cocaine to chauffeured cars. He's the guy who turned smuggling white powder into a global empire. Escobar's idea of a diversified portfolio involved drug cartels, gold-plated toilets, and hippos as pets. He gave new meaning to kingpin and proved that even drug lords can have a taste for the finer things in life.
Watch this.
I'm amazing.
Not so fast.
Lemon Ranch, poorest lemon ranch in California.
His ambitions huge.
In Nixon, Richard Nixon proved that sometimes the most famous thing about a president can be a pair of raised eyebrows. He's the guy who turned a political scandal into a must-see TV. Nixon had a knack for making secret recordings sound like a bad reality show audition tape. Watergate wasn't just a scandal. It was a masterclass in how not to erase incriminating evidence. Nixon, the man who made "I'm not a crook" the most famous catchphrase in politics.
Humility over. I'm amazing.
Not so fast.
America's most infamous serial killer.
In Gacy, John Wayne Gacy takes the term killer clown to a whole new level. He's the guy who could paint a smile on his face while burying bodies in his basement.
I have to tell you something.
What?
I've been kind of naughty.
Gacy's idea of a birthday party involved handcuffs and not-so-magical disappearing acts. He made Pennywise look like a friendly gesture, and Ronald McDonald seemed like a health nut. Gacy, the man who turned balloons into your worst nightmare.
I'm amazing.
Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
In Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer proved that the way to someone's heart isn't through their stomach, it's in their fridge. He was the guy who turned dinner date into a chilling experience. Forget wine and roses. Dahmer preferred a side of serial killer trivia with his meals. He made Hannibal Lecter look like a picky eater and taught us all that sometimes the most disturbing thing that can be found in the pantry is in the pantry. Dahmer, the gourmet ghoul.
I'm amazing.
Not so fast.
Are you sure there's nobody else in the house?
In Zodiac, the Zodiac killer left a trail of cryptic clues
He wants his code in the afternoon edition.
and unsolved mysteries that would make even Sherlock Holmes scratch his head. He's the guy who turned California into a real-life puzzle book.
Hello?
Who's this?
Complete with ciphers and creepy phone calls. The Zodiac Killer, where whodunit meets who's next. His idea of Valentine was a cryptogram card, proving that he had a card as enigmatic as his identity.
Yes, I am amazing.
Not so fast!
Everyone has their own truth.
In Tonya, Tonya Harding proved that she had a triple axle-sized knack for making headlines.
Best figure skater in the world at one point in time.
Sometimes even with a lead pipe in her hand.
How do I get a fair shot here?
We also judge on presentation. Suck my...
She skated her way into infamy with a scandal that made the Olympic feel more like a worldwide wrestling match.
Come on! What kind of friggin' person bashes in their friend's knee? Who would do that with friends?
Tonya showed us that even figure skaters can have a cutting edge, and that sometimes the drama on the ice is as frosty as the ring.
I'm always amazing.
Not so fast.
In Ivan the Terrible, Part 1, Ivan showed us that being a czar isn't all Fabergé eggs and fur hats. It's also about having a talent for naming that strikes fear into your enemies. He's the guy who made history lessons feel more like war stories. Ivan the Terrible, because why stop at Ivan the Okay when you can go all the way on the terrible? His regime was like Game of Thrones, but with more bling and less dragons.
I'm amazing. Not so fast.
We would promise our lives. Stalin has booked his promise.
In Stalin, Joseph Stalin proved that being a dictator is a real workout.
The great comrade Stalin, best friend of all children.
He was the man who turned the Soviet Union into one giant gymnasium where political opponents got more reps of disappearing acts than push-ups. Stalin had a mustache that could double as a ruler, and his idea of a good time was purging enemies faster than you can say comrade. He made authoritarianism feel like a bad sitcom, but with way more gulags.
I'm amazing.
Not so fast.
In The Founding of a Republic, Mao Zedong proved that leading a revolution isn't all fun and games, unless your idea of fun is orchestrating mass parades and turning little red books into fashion statements. He's the guy who made the Great Leap Forward sound like an epic dance move, and the Cultural Revolution feel like a wild theme party. Mao, where politics met performance art and communism had a flair for the dramatic.
I'm amazing.
Not so fast.
Downfall.
In Downfall, Adolf Hitler proves that even evil dictators need a good therapist. He's the guy who thought world domination would be a walk in the Volkspark. Hitler's mustache alone could make a statement, but he decided to add a world war to his resume. His bunker parties were legendary, where the only thing more explosive than the discussions was his temper. Hitler, the man who turned Europe into one big history lesson in what not to do.
I'm amazing.
Not so fast.
In JFK, Lee Harvey Oswald shows that you can go from disgruntled ex-Marine to history's most notorious sharpshooter in just a few seconds. He's the guy who turned the grassy knoll into the most debated piece of real estate since the Garden of Eden. Oswald made conspiracy theories more popular than celebrity gossip, leaving us all wondering if there's a second shooter behind every corner. Lee Harvey Oswald making Who Shot JFK the ultimate dinner party conversation for decades.
Because I'm clever!
Not so fast.
Lincoln's been shot.
In The Conspirator, John Wilkes Booth takes center stage as the guy who decides that assassinating Abraham Lincoln was the perfect encore to his acting career.
I am innocent.
You tell John Surratt unless he surrenders, his mother will be punished for his crimes.
He turned Ford's Theater into a real-life drama, proving that breaking a leg could have a whole new meaning. Booth, the man who showed us that some actors will do anything for a standing ovation, even if it's just from history buffs.
Because I'm incredibly clever.
Not so fast.
In Lizzie Borden hacks her way into history as the woman who gave a new meaning to Family Feud.
Apologize to your mother.
Don't you dare call her my mother.
She wielded an axe like it was a hot fashion accessory, turning her home into a blood-splattered runway. Lizzie's idea of conflict resolution was a bit over the top, making her the ultimate contender for the title of world's worst hostess.
Have I done something?
After all, nothing says hospitality like an axe to the skull.
I'm clever.
Not so fast!
In Guyana Tragedy, the story of Jim Jones shows us that even cult leaders can't resist a little vacation. He turned Guyana into the hottest destination for Kool-Aid enthusiasts. Jones preached communal living, but delivered a real chilling experience. His charisma was so potent that even his followers couldn't resist his killer punchlines. Jim Jones, where a sip of loyalty led to a gulp of infamy.
It's an unbecoming trait.
Infamous folks, the true triple threats of mayhem, poses 3 distinct traits that make them the life of the not-so-party. First, they've got charisma of 1,000 used car salesmen, the kind that could sell an ice to an Eskimo while convincing them it's an upgrade. People follow them into chaos like lemmings to a cliff. Next, their ambition is bigger than a Kardashian's wardrobe, pushing them to reach heights of infamy that'll make Everest blush. Whether they're conquering nations or robbing banks, they go big or go home to prison. Lastly, infamous folks sprinkle chaos like it's confetti at a parade, turning mundane tasks into full-blown disasters. It's as if they have a PhD in How Do Meetings Go Horribly Wrong 101. So there you have it, the 3: charisma, ambition, and chaos. The recipe for infamy's secret sauce. Now let's hope you only use it for good, not evil. Watch next our video on infamous people.